Hi everyone, Rusty Dog here. Okay, I needed to follow up the last video about the AX reactivation mission, just to clear things up about what's going on and where the fault lies. So basically where the fault lies is partly with myself, partly with Frontier. So there is a bug, a text bug with the AX reactivation missions, which we're going to take a look at in a moment. I just want to clear up my side. So when I took the mission in the previous video, the one that says FDev sort this nonsense out, what happened was I made the assumption, which turned out to be an incorrect one, that the power on mission was going to be exactly that. They give you a regulator, you go down, you power the base on. Because that's how I've done every other power on mission ever in this game. It's always been that way. You just go down, the only requirement is to put the power on, and that's it. And so I assumed that this was the same, the only difference being that there was going to be Revenant Goids, Scouts, and Interceptors floating around as well, which you had to avoid, and that was the challenge. So I just see on the mission board, hey, here's a AX reactivation mission. Click it, click on accept, and that's it. Don't even bother reading the description because it's a power on mission. Done plenty of them. So, turns out I should have read the description because the description actually does mention that there will be another objective. Kind of. I mean, it says there will, but it words it pretty badly. So let's take a look. So when you take the mission off the board, whether it be on foot or whether it be in the ship, this is the description that you would get. This is a typical description of what you would get. And that description remains the same for a while. Okay, so I didn't read all of this except for the travel to wherever, and then that's all I read. Maverick suit required. I didn't read the other lines because, as I said, I just presumed or assumed that it was going to be another straight power on mission. That's it. I've done so many of them. Why would I assume anything different, right? You know, maybe I shouldn't have assumed it. That's another debate to be had on another time. Let me just get rid of a little bit of mess here on the screen. Okay, so this is what we get. Travel to Lin command site, restore power to the settlement's power center using the provided power regulator. That's what all power on missions will say. But then is the line that I missed. Actually, I missed the next two. You will be required to complete other objectives once the power is back online. Now, as far as I know so far, unless anybody can tell me otherwise, and if you can tell me otherwise, please leave a comment in the description. As far as I'm aware, apart from doing the regulator, there is only one other task required. I don't know if there is more than one, but as far as I'm aware, from what I've seen, it's put the power regulator in and then either grab some data from a locker, either grab some data from a data port or grab something from a locker, something like that. I don't know if there's any more tasks other than that. And if there is only one task after placing the power regulator in, then this wording of you will be required to complete other objectives makes it sound like there's going to be more than two things. Because the power regulator is your primary goal, and then other tells you that there's going to be something else, but then they've pluralized or pluraled objectives. So now it's like two or more. or at least more than 2, I would say. Because if it was, yeah, 2 or more, sorry. If it's one more task to do after the regulator, then it should say you will be required to complete another objective. That's what it should say. But that's just grammar. Let's not get into that. That's not really the issue here. But yeah, it would be nice if they fixed that. The other line I didn't read, completing the task will contribute to victory progress in mission relevant systems. Okay, great. So you take the mission and you fly to the base and you approach the planet, and then you go through the descent phase, and then you go through glide. Okay? After glide, you are now approaching the base. There will be a point as when your ship approaches the base, obviously don't get too close, at least land a couple of kilometers out. When you get close to the base, there's going to be a message that comes up on your screen that says mission updated. At that point, after mission updated, if you go back into your ship's transaction tab, you will now see this. You have arrived at Lin command site. So the travel to Lin command site has now been replaced by you have arrived at. And again, a repetition of the second line. Restore the power to the settlement's power center using the provided power regulator. Where is the line about the other objective? It's not there, is it? They've added the completing this task will contribute to victory progress, but that line, that crucial line about the second objective. So if you read the mission thoroughly through when you took it, and now that we know that I think all of these missions have got a secondary objective, so we don't need to read them anymore once you know that. But if you're like me, that you didn't read the mission in full because you were expecting it to be just a straight power-up mission, and like me, you got down onto the base, did the power regulator, and then suddenly it didn't complete the mission. So I jump back in my SRV, I look at my transaction tab, and I see this. I see no mention of a second. So this will be, when I looked in my SRV on that video, that was the first time I really read through the wording because I needed to find out, have I missed a stage out? Have I missed a step out? And there's nothing here to tell me, yeah, you've missed a step out. Now, had that line been in here about completing other objectives, then I would have looked at that line and gone, I didn't see that. Damn it. Okay, let's go and see if we can complete this second objective. That's what I would have done. Because I would have realized it was my mistake, I didn't see it. But when I look at this, where it's not even mentioned, what the hell am I supposed to think? You know, why is it showing me retrieve this material from the locker in the warehouse? I don't know what to think, because surely if there's an objective, it should be on the mission briefing. And I made an argument that all the information for a mission should be on the mission briefing. And it turned out that in fact it was from the start, which is great. They added it. You will be required to complete other objectives once the power is back online. That line needs to stay here. It should. And this is what went wrong. And this is why I thought that the mission was bugged. And this is why, you know, the problem is I'm kind of pre-programmed to believe it's a bug because I've seen so many in Elite Dangerous, and that's not good reputation, is it? But so yeah, it was my mistake for not reading the mission and for assuming it was just going to be a power on mission. But I believe it's Frontier's mistake for not keeping the mission description in full after you approach the base. There's no reason for them to remove that line about you will be required to complete. That's kind of an important line. Now, once you know about it, once you know that there's another objective, you know, it seems to me that all the AX reactivation missions have a secondary objective. It's not like random. Some do, some don't. It seems, from what I've experienced, which is not very much, to be honest. So if anybody can tell me, oh yeah, sometimes you get 2 other objectives, or sometimes you don't get any at all. I've not heard of any missions that don't have any at all. So, but once you know how these missions work, then of course you no longer have to read it. But just to avoid people going through what I went through, confusion, right? Because if it's saying to me on the screen, get something from a locker in the warehouse, and there's no mention of it on this description here, what am I supposed to think? So this is just something that Frontier need to fix, that when it changes to the you have arrived, that the mission description doesn't miss out that line, because it's kind of crucial. So that's kind of what happened. So it's partly my fault, partly FDev, and I can fix my part of it. So I hope Frontier can do it for theirs. That's it. Thank you, and I'll catch you next time.